Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
And now at 5, continuing coverage of the possible power shutoffs in the Bay Area, how people are bracing and what you can do to prepare.
Plus, remembering the deadly wine country wildfires 2 years later, a look at events happening in the North Bay today.
And does federal law protect LGBTQ employees from discrimination in the workplace? That's the question justices will hear today in the Supreme Court.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 8th. I'm Kenny Choi.
And I'm Michelle Griego. Let's get right over to Mary Lee with a look at our forecast.
Good morning, Michelle and Kenny. We are looking at cooler weather for today, and here's the reason why. You can see on our Ocean Beach Cliff House camera the fog. So we're getting that onshore flow kicking in for us, and that means temps will be cooler. We're also tracking a dry cold front that is going to cool us down as well, just really ushering in that marine influence for us. Temps are definitely cooler compared to yesterday. Santa Rosa, you're at 49 degrees right now, 55 in Concord, Oakland at 60, 53 in Livermore, 59 in downtown San Francisco, San Jose coming in at 58. So as we go through the day, definitely not as warm as yesterday, still above average in many locations though. 84 for a high in Concord after you hit the low 90s yesterday, looking at 85 in Livermore, 84 in San Jose, 74 in Oakland, and 70 for San Francisco. So a cool down as we head through the week. And of course, the big weather story, the extreme fire danger. Details coming up. Let's check in with Gianna with that South Bay commute.
Yeah, and it's a good one, Mary. If you are headed out the door early, you are good to go on most of our Bay Area freeways. In fact, we'll look at our maps here at 101, 280, 87 coming out of the South Bay, and we are all in the green, which means you are moving up to speed for the most part. So easy ride out of the South Bay, and our drive times reflect that. Look at that, North 101, 85 to 680, 280, an easy 7 minutes, only 7 minutes as well to go northbound Guadalupe Parkway from 85 over towards 101. Taking a look at conditions in San Francisco right now, 101 in and out of the city, all clear. Looks like we're seeing nice speeds as well. Northbound 280 as you work your way into San Francisco, no delays on 280 extension. And taking a quick look at the Bay Bridge, business as usual. You got a few cars stacked up in those cash lanes, but overall it's an easy ride out of the East Bay into San Francisco. We'll take a look at the Altamont Pass coming up next. Michelle?
Gianna, thank you. This morning, nearly 250,000 people across the Bay Area are at the mercy of PG&E. The gas and electric company may be turning off the power across several counties for as many as 5 days. KPIX 5's Jackie Ward is in San Mateo County for us this morning with more. Jackie?
Good morning, Michelle. When we're talking about these widespread potential power shutoffs, we're usually not talking about San Mateo County, but this morning, PG&E is anticipating the weather possibly reaching such severe levels that San Mateo may be threatened. So here's a list of just some of the towns that would get their power shutoffs starting tomorrow. Half Moon Bay, Woodside, San Mateo, Menlo Park, and Pacifica. In all, 14,766 customers in this county alone would be affected. PG&E is calling the weather conditions dangerous due to dry and windiness, which makes the risk of another catastrophic wildfire high. In the recent past, PG&E has focused on the northern Bay Area counties when discussing a public safety power shutoff, but now people in more urban areas like San Mateo County might be at risk, PG&E says. David Canepa, a supervisor for the county, is not pleased with the utility company.
They really need to invest and make sure that they find solutions around equipment instead of putting people in the dark for 5 days.
The shutoff could happen sometime tomorrow. We don't have a specific time because PG&E says this situation is, quote, evolving. The power may be shut off for several days, and then, of course, it takes a couple days, up to 2 days, to turn the power back on. Live in Daly City, Jackie Ward, KPIX 5.
5:03 right now. Meantime, almost all of Napa County is bracing for PG&E to shut off its power. The outage not only impacts rural communities, but also includes bustling downtown areas. Tourists whose plans revolve around restaurant and winery visits say that the continued outages could have long-term impacts.
Word will get around to all of the tourists that are coming in that it's not a good place to visit if we're having these controlled electrical shutdowns.
PG&E says that the places that will lose power were carefully chosen based on weather forecasts and the company's infrastructure in the areas. Well, this morning, BAR also says that any PG&E outages will not affect service, but Oakland Unified School District says that 10 schools could lose power and be forced to close. For more information on the potential power outages and shutoffs, visit our website, kpix.com.
PG&E's largest planned power outage today comes on the second anniversary of the wine country wildfires. The flurry of wildfires in 2017 ripped across the North Bay, killing 44. In Sonoma County, a tribute to the lives lost. Santa Rosa is holding a brief ceremony downtown tonight at Courthouse Square. The Sonoma County Board of Supervisors will also honor the victims in their normal meeting in just a few hours, and they are calling for 44 seconds of silence in memory of the 44 killed. Today's anniversary marks the region's worst disaster on record. More than 6,000 homes were destroyed. For fire survivors, the timing of PG&E's warnings carries extra significance. Most of the fires were blamed on the utility's power equipment failures.
I'm Ann Makovic at the Live News Desk. Following the latest on the controversy between the NBA and China, overnight the NBA commissioner tweeted responded basically to a tweet by the general manager of the Houston Rockets criticizing China, and he supported it. Here's what he had to say.
The long-held values of the NBA are to support freedom of expression, and certainly freedom of expression by members of the NBA community.
Now, China's state TV is now blocking preseason NBA games for the hundreds of millions of fans in that country. This is new video of the Rockets practicing in Japan overnight, while China's Basketball Association says it has severed ties with the team. And this all comes amid these ongoing pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. They've been going on for several months, but have grown increasingly violent, really, over the past week. And now there are signs that China may be intervening in these protests in Hong Kong, which could really rile up those demonstrators further. We'll be keeping an eye on that.
Happening today, the Supreme Court is taking up a high-profile issue considering whether federal civil rights law protects LGBTQ employees from workplace discrimination. They'll be hearing from Amy Stevens today. She says she was fired from a Detroit area funeral home where she had worked for years after telling the owner she was transgender and planned to transition. Now, justices are considering whether the landmark 1964 civil rights law that outlawed discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, and sex also extends to workplace protections to the LGBTQ community.
Having a federal law that provides uniform protections across the board is really important to making sure that we can live in any part of this country and know that our rights will be equally secure.
Stevens says she is trying to bring change not only for herself and those who have reached out to her, but for future generations. Justices will also hear the cases of a skydiving instructor in New York and a child welfare services coordinator from Georgia who say they were fired for being gay. The Supreme Court isn't expected to make a ruling until spring.
This morning, the commissioner of Major League Baseball is warning the city of Oakland abandon a lawsuit against the A's or risk losing the team. Last week, the city sued to stop the A's from buying Alameda County's ownership stake at the Coliseum. Well, that prompted Commissioner Rob Manfred to travel across the country and hold meetings with city officials.
The commissioner showed up and he just threw down, and the message was loud and clear. He wants the issue regarding the disposition of that Coliseum land resolved, and he wanted the lawsuit to go away.
The A's want to take full ownership of the Coliseum site and then redevelop it after they move to a potential new stadium near Jack London Square.
A look along the Embarcadero for the 39th annual San Francisco Fleet Week. Today's events include a veterans art exhibit this morning at Atelier Gallery, the 32nd Street Brass Band concert at Patricia's Green at noon, and the Southwest Destroyers concert at 4 at Pier 39. For the Fleet Week kickoff, first responders held a disaster drill with members of the military. They simulated a 7.9 magnitude earthquake hitting San Francisco. One part of the drill focused on how to get rid of the rubble left behind. They've been planning this for 6 months now to quickly set up satellites for communication and solar panels to power equipment. To find out more about the Fleet Week events happening this week, just head over to our website, kpix.com.